Hello, my name is Sarah and I am an English teacher and language anxiety coach, and a big welcome to the fifth and final lesson in this 5-day Think Positive Speaking Challenge. So we've been talking a lot about improving your speaking, about practicing speaking, about separating accuracy and fluency. We've looked at a really great way of giving yourself positive feedback. And in this last lesson, we're going to talk about your mindset. So mindset is really, it's all about how you think about life in general. Do you have a positive mindset where you believe that you can do things and you will get the results that you want? Or do you have a negative mindset where you might think it's hopeless, or you're useless, or it's impossible, or it's too difficult? Now, mindset is being talked about a lot now in lots of different areas of life, from business to sport to, property investing to eating healthily, and finally it is making its way through to language learning. Now, I've worked with a lot of language learners now, and I think that most of them could do with a little bit of help with their mindset, and some of them could do with a lot of help with their mindset. And the specific thing we're going to talk about today is a communication mindset. If you can do this, you will have made such a huge difference to your speaking and to how you feel about your speaking. Now, let me give you an example from my experience as a language learner. Now, I learn Mandarin Chinese, and I have lessons online on italki, and I have 2 teachers. And I kind of have one lesson with one and one lesson with the other. Now, the first teacher, she doesn't stop me when I'm talking. She doesn't interrupt me. She doesn't correct me when I make a mistake. I make a lot of mistakes. And she just lets me kind of say what I want to say, and I get stuck and I, have to struggle a bit, but she's patient and she lets me finish. And this is great for me because it means that I feel confident and I feel like, okay, and I know I'm making mistakes and I know I'm not being natural in the way I say stuff, but I'm also really proud because I am able to get my point across. Now, the other teacher interrupts me all the time. Every time I make a mistake, she stops me. If I'm reading Chinese aloud, which is very difficult, she stops me when I make a mistake. If I am trying to summarize a story, she stops me when I'm making a mistake. And it's very difficult. And it's very frustrating. And I start to doubt myself because I'm like, oh my God, there are a lot of mistakes. Now, I know as a very experienced language teacher and language learner that it's not my fault and that mistakes are inevitable. So I'm kind of okay with it. And I also know that within that Chinese education culture, they tend to be like this. They tend to stop people when they make a mistake. And in the Chinese kind of way of thinking, that's what a teacher should do. So I know she's doing her job. I get that. But I also know that if I was a more nervous Chinese speaker, or if I was younger or less experienced, this style of teaching could really start to affect my self-confidence, because I would think everything I say is wrong. Like, I'm just really awful because she interrupts me all the time and I can't say anything, and I might as well just not ever say anything because anyway it's all wrong. Now, this mindset, the mistakes are bad. Mistakes should be avoided. In my opinion, this is a false, limiting belief. we form this belief as language learners because of experiences like I have with this second teacher. Because when we were at school, we were shouted at when we made a mistake, or we were made to feel like we were idiots when we made a mistake, or the whole class laughed at us because we said a word wrong in French, and we thought, oh my God, I'm never going to speak French again. I just obviously can't do it. None of this is true. This is a mindset and a belief system, and it causes us frustration, tension, and it makes us really scared of making mistakes. Now, in particular, very anxious language learners have a tendency to really, really obsess about their mistakes. It's one of the characteristics of highly anxious language learners. And I use this example a lot. I had a very intelligent, very proficient student who was at least C1, and we would do some speaking, and the first thing they would say was, did I make mistakes? How many mistakes? And it was as though everything else was irrelevant. The only thing they were caring about was how many mistakes they made. And when learners worry about mistakes like this, we talked about accuracy and fluency. If all of your focus is on your accuracy, your fluency drops away. Okay, so by worrying about mistakes and worrying about your accuracy, you are basically destroying your fluency. And there is a really, really interesting kind of paradox when it comes to mistakes and communication, because actually the more you worry about these mistakes, not only do you lose your accuracy, but the worry in your mind makes you less accurate. Now I'm going to say all that again because it's complicated. Some learners worry too much about mistakes. They put all of their focus on being accurate at the expense of their fluency. However, when your focus is here, when your focus is on making no mistakes, because of the mental anxiety you cause yourself, you actually become less accurate too. So worrying about mistakes is terrible for your fluency, but it's also terrible for your accuracy. All right, so let's have some examples of a mistake mindset where people obsess over their mistakes. Number one, a CPE student completely focused on advanced grammar, but ended up sounding very hesitant because they were always trying to think of what structure to use next. My business student I told you about, terrified of making mistakes in presentations and ended up sounding like a robot because they were so unnatural. This is not a good way to speak. And an IELTS student who had been taught that mistakes were terrible, they couldn't finish a sentence because they were so worried about their mistakes. They were unable to say anything. All of these students over time benefited from developing a communication mindset. And a communication mindset really is when we focus on our message. And if you think back to lesson 3, we talked about accuracy and fluency, and I said, you need to do the accuracy work, but you need to do fluency work too. Having a communication mindset is all about being able to be fluent. And when I say fluent, I don't mean perfect like a native speaker, not that we are perfect. I mean fluent for your level, whether you are C2, B2 or A2, there is a degree of fluency that is good for your level. You see, I lost a word there. I couldn't think what the word I wanted was. Even at A2, you can be fluent for A2. You can be fluent for C1. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to talk to your listener. Now, the truth is that in the real world, no one cares about your mistakes. I know this might be challenging for you, but when you are talking to your colleagues, when you are giving a presentation, when you are chatting to your friends, when you are doing stuff in English in the real world, most people, 99% of people, will not care if you make a mistake. Most native speakers will not notice if you make a mistake because most native speakers don't understand enough about their language to observe it. My partner is a non-native English speaker. He makes mistakes with certain aspects of English. I notice because my ear is trained to notice. No one else notices. No one cares. Okay? No one cares. Now, in exams, it's different because in exams, you are being assessed on your accuracy and your fluency. And because we are trained to think that mistakes are bad, most exam candidates worry a lot about their accuracy. When you're working for an exam, the accuracy practice you do as you are preparing, okay? This is really important. But in the exam, you need to be communicating to the examiner. You need to be expressing your ideas. You need to be interacting with your partner in the Cambridge exams. Although accuracy is important in exams, fluency is important too. Interactive communication is important too. Don't sacrifice that by obsessing over your mistakes. Focus on your message. And the other really stressful time for people is, of course, English at work. You know, if you've got native speaker colleagues and you feel very shy to talk in front of them, or you have to, chair a Zoom conference call, it can be extremely stressful. And I understand that. But again, the accuracy work happens before the meeting, before the presentation, before the interview. You learn the vocabulary, you practice with a teacher, you get your smartphone, you make recordings. On the day, you need to communicate, you need to focus on your communication. Anything else that you do, you can sort out later. Your colleagues won't notice your mistakes. Now, your final challenge then in this 5-day speaking challenge is to find a speaking task from a course book or wherever you want. And I want you to do it twice. Now, the first time you do it, I want you to do it perfectly. I don't want any mistakes at all. It should be perfect grammatically. You should be using great vocabulary. You should have really clear pronunciation. It basically needs to be great and perfect. And anything less than that will be a terrible thing. The second time you do the task, I just want you to communicate. I just want you to share your ideas, share your thoughts, share your feelings. Let everyone know what you think, because what you think matters. What you think is important. It matters to the world. It matters to your colleagues. It matters. When you've done this twice and you've made your 2 recordings, your perfect one and the one where your ideas matter, listen to them. Which one's better? Which one was more fun to make? Which one is more fluent? Which one made you feel good about yourself? Now, when you've done that, of course, please share your findings in the comments below. Love to hear how this goes for you. If you're watching this video, there are 5 of these video lessons in this playlist. This is the final one. You are welcome to just watch the rest on YouTube. That's great. If you'd like the downloadable PDF worksheets, there's one for each video. Please click on the link in the description for this video or go to my banner and click on the button. You'll get emails every day for 5 days, each with a downloadable PDF. This is completely free. There is no charge for this course. And if you have been watching all of the videos, congratulations to you. Well done for investing your time and making that commitment to improve and grow, not only as an English learner, but also as a human being. We can't separate things out. We can't separate out being a language learner with being a human. So the fact that you are here watching this, learning and growing, says so much about you as a person. And I want you to be really proud of the fact that you have made it through this course. It's been an absolute pleasure sharing these ideas with you. I really hope that some of them have been helpful for you and that you're able now to go away, practice your English at home, give yourself feedback, and when it comes to using English, you have the confidence to go and share your message, because your message is important. Any comments, any questions, leave them in the comments section below. Thank you again so much for watching and have a great day. Goodbye.